In the last stream, we went through the somewhat arduous process of trying to craft up the Master Infusion Crystal. This took way too much time, way too much crafting, way too much XP out of our jumbo tank, but right at the very end of the last stream, we did finally manage to craft up this Master Infusion Crystal, and so now going forward, at any point in time, we can just craft up any set of essence that we like into a higher set of essence. We can craft Inferium into Prudentium. We can craft the Prudentium up into Tertium. We can craft that Tertium up into the tier 4 essence that I always forget the name of. It is Imperium, then up into Supremium, and then up into Insanium. And now that we have that ability, one of the first things that I want to work on in today's stream is seeing if we can't get the Wither Skeleton Seeds. These are tier 5 seeds that do require supremium essence, but now that we have both the Master Infusion Crystal and a new backlog of Inferium essence, I think we should be able to get the supremium here fairly easily. The slightly harder part is going to be getting the soul jars, because in order to craft this Wither Skeleton Seed, we need 4 soul jars, each filled with the souls of 8 Wither Skeletons. And so I believe the idea here is that we can craft these soul jars using 3 soul glass and 1 soulium ingot. The soulium ingot can be made by crafting together 2 soulium dust with 1 prosperity ingot, and soulium dust we can get by sifting crushed netherrack. And so in fact, I imagine that we do already have a little bit of soulium dust lying around. We do indeed. And so it really shouldn't be too difficult for us to make these. Once we have the soul jars, I believe the process then is that we head on through to the nether. Thankfully, we are fairly close to a nether fortress. And so what we should be able to do is head on to that nether fortress. And I believe using a soul dagger, this guy right here, we can kill wither skeletons, and with each wither skeleton that we kill, a soul will be added to the soul jar. And so in total, if we are going to make the Wither Skeleton Seeds, we would have to kill 32 Wither Skeletons to fill each of the 4 soul jars with 8 Wither Skeleton souls. The good news, though, is that once we have that up and running, once we have the Wither Skeleton Seed, at that point we can begin growing it in our little farming setup over here. We'll probably replace 1 or 2 of the Inferium seeds with Wither Skeleton seeds, and hopefully, much like with our other seeds, we'll kind of start to back up and get more of them as we grow. And then from that point, we get Wither Skeleton Essence, and we can use that to start crafting up Wither Skeleton Skulls. And going forward, we can potentially use those Wither Skeleton Skulls to automate the production of Nether Stars. That's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, though. Let's start by seeing if we can't make 4 of these soul jars here. The soul glass, by the way, also made with soul dust and regular glass. The soul dust is not the same as soulium dust, different dust there. The soul dust is made by smelting smooth soul stone, and smooth soul stone is made by smelting soul stone, and soul stone is made by smelting soul cobblestone. Thankfully, in the last stream, we did set up this tertium furnace here, and so we should hopefully be able to smelt up quite a large amount of this fairly quickly. While we wait for that, let's see if we can't get, I guess, 4 of these soulium ingots. Thankfully, we do have a bunch of prosperity shards, and so getting 4 of these prosperity ingots should be as simple as just shift-clicking in the recipe and crafting those down. And then from there, if we want to craft those up into soulium ingots, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the Twitch chat is asking why I don't upgrade the tertium furnace here. And I guess, given that we do have 12,800 Inferium Essence, and that we do now have the Master Infusion Crystal here, we probably could. Let's have a look real quick. How expensive is the highest tier furnace? It is going to require 9 supremium to make the block there, plus 1 here is 10, plus 2 ingots is 4 more. So we would need 14 supremium in order to craft up the supremium furnace. Boom. And boom, chat, we have the supremium furnace with a cooking speed of 4,000% and a fuel efficiency of 800%, making it 8 times more fuel efficient than a standard furnace and 40 times faster. So boom, we'll throw that back down. In the time it took us to do that, we smelted 16 smooth soulstone. Over here, if we put this back in and of course throw in that coal as well, this should now be tremendously faster. Look at that. That is actually insanely fast. I love it. Now what we can do is we can take this smooth soulstone actually and replace it back into the supremium furnace just as soon as it is done with its current smelt. And boom, look at that. We're getting all of the soul dust that we need. So 45 soul dust later, let's craft up, I guess we need 12 soul glass here. Unsurprisingly, as per usual, just regular glass is the thing that we're light on. Thankfully, Isaac of the Past did fill up these blast furnaces here, and so thankfully we do have some ready to go. And in fact, I'm going to pass that favor along once again to future Isaac by dropping some more sand into these blast furnaces. And 12. So once we have all of the soul glass, we can do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we have all of the soul jars as well. As for the Soulium dagger, we need a gold sword, nice and easy. We also need 2 more Soulium dust, which we have, 2 more Soulium ingots, which we should be able to make. 1 and 2. And boom, we have a Soulium dagger as well. And so I think, chat, that's basically everything that we need here in order to start getting souls into the soul jar. Thanks to the fissure we set up in the last stream, we do have a couple of items with enchants that we might want here, like sharpness, unbreaking, and mending. I don't know what the durability is like on the Soulium dagger here, but I guess ideally we wouldn't want to make a second one. So if we could quickly grab a few books here, we should be able to pull a few of these enchants off these fishing rods and use those on the Soulium dagger to make it deal just a bit more damage and also make it last just a little longer with unbreaking and with mending as well. We can, of course, enchant the Soulium dagger in the regular fashion. We got Bane of the Arthropods 5, Looting 3, Unbreaking 3, and the grants additional souls is already there by default. And I guess that saves us having to reapply Looting 3 again. The Twitch chat is telling me that my vanilla Minecraft knowledge is lacking here. Apparently, you cannot have Bane of the Arthropods and Sharpness on at the same time. Thankfully, it's fairly easy for us to take Bane of the Arthropods off, and given that we don't need it for killing wither skeletons, it's not really too useful either. We can just drop Sharpness 3 on there, and boom. We now have a slightly better dagger, higher attack damage, and the last thing I think we should probably do before we head on through to the nether here is probably invest in maybe a full set of diamond armor. And it might not even be the worst idea, chat, given that we do have basically a limitless amount of experience thanks to our jumbo tank. It might not be a terrible idea just to go and enchant this set real quick and see if we can't get any good enchantments onto our diamond armor as well. So we got Unbreaking, Blast Protection, Thorns, Unbreaking again, Blast Protection, and Protection. Okay, cool. We'll throw that on. And the Twitch chat has reminded me that we also do want to put, I think, Mending onto our dagger as well here, just so we can repair it nice and easily if we start to run low on durability. Now, we have been through to the nether before, and last time we went, we were using the somewhat janky method of flight that is the plane. We do still have the plane in our backpack here. I think, though, that the fortress is fairly close by, close enough to where we can probably just build a bridge over to the fortress, as opposed to trying to fly there. If memory serves me right, it's just over here. If we're going to build a bridge out, the building gadget here is actually not a bad investment. So the idea here is that, once again, you can hold down your building gadget key. Right now I have mine set to numpad 5. You can change it in the settings. And then if we just do like a horizontal wall like that, and we'll set the range to like 15. And what we should be able to do is just right click on the cobblestone. And actually, I think I do want this to be horizontal column, not horizontal wall. At that point, you can do something like this and just build kind of directly out in one direction. And in fact, by default, this is set to place on top. If you change that to inside, it will build them just in a straight line like this. And then you can just right click and it'll place down a nice bridge of cobblestone. And I'm starting to think that this is probably not the direction of my nether fortress. Okay, so way too much time later, and 1 or 2 deaths in the void later, we have managed to build a staircase down to the nether fortress. You can kind of see it in my peripheral vision down there. However, it has been pointed out by many people in the Twitch chat that we should definitely get a jetpack here. Not only is it going to make it a lot easier for us to get back and forth to the nether fortress, but it's also going to allow us to actually more efficiently move around once we're in the fortress between the different floating platforms, and hopefully make it a lot easier for us to get all of the wither skeleton kills that we need. So jetpack-wise, there are two options here that we can go with. There is the jetpack from Mechanism, which is significantly cheaper than the jetpacks from the Emerald Jetpack mod. However, I don't think it's quite as good. This jetpack runs on hydrogen, so we would have to set up an electrolytic separator to separate out water into hydrogen and oxygen and then fill it up. And on top of that, you can also move faster and hover better with some of the higher tier jetpacks from the Iron Jetpacks mod. And so I think what we'll probably do here is try and get a fairly high tier Iron Jetpacks jetpack. The different tiers, by the way, are tier 0, which starts with the wooden jetpack, tier 1, which is the copper and stone jetpacks. There is then tier 2, which encompasses things like the bronze jetpack, tier 3, which is electrum and gold, and a few others as well, tier 4, which is diamond, and then tier 5, which is emerald. I don't think we quite have enough emeralds to make a tier 5 jetpack, but I imagine we probably do have enough diamonds to make a tier 4 jetpack. Unfortunately, though, you do have to go through each of the tiers individually, and so what we'll probably do is we'll make a wooden jetpack, followed by a stone jetpack, followed by a gold jetpack, I think, and then maybe a diamond jetpack after that. So all of these have a very similar recipe. They're all made with thrusters, capacitors, and then the material that the jetpack is made out of. The capacitors and thrusters are also made fairly similarly. They're made with coils and energy cells. Now, I've been told by the Twitch chat that each jetpack tier requires 11 coils. So if I make 11 coils here, presumably that would be enough to make this jetpack. Thankfully, at this point in time, we do have a good amount of cobblestone. And so getting all of the compressed cobblestone required to make a bunch of furnaces really shouldn't be too difficult for us. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and make, 21 of those. That seems perfectly fine. We will also make a couple of batteries. Again, we're going to need 5 energy cells here. So 1, 2, and then, of course, with it being wood is surprisingly one of the few things that we are lacking here. Thankfully, we do have a good amount of wood essence, and so we can do something like this, or potentially like this, to get some more oak logs here. And again, we will just make those in bulk, I think, to make my life a little easier. So we got 1 battery before we ran out of wood. Perfect. Let's do 2, 3, 4, and 5. That should allow us to make the capacitor, and then from there we should also be able to make, hopefully, 2 thrusters, 1 and 2. And at that point, the only thing left there is the leather strap. This is made with 3 leather and 2 iron nuggets, all of which we have. And so now, chat, we do have our first tier of jetpack. Again, because of our wireless charging over here, it will charge in our hotbar. We can take that one step further. If we turn on wireless charging in our armor slots, we can now wirelessly charge the jetpack whilst it's actually on our back. So by default, V is turning the jetpack on and off, toggle engine, and then G is turning hover mode on and off. So if we press V, the jetpack is now on, and it's probably not a good idea to try it up on the surface there. But this is the jetpack. It's not too bad. It's not crazy good. You'll see on the left there, we are kind of running out of power fairly quickly. It doesn't hold a ton. And if we press G to try and hover here, you'll notice that the hover mode on the wooden jetpack is actually pretty bad. You kind of still do fall at a fairly fast rate. However, the good news is that we can upgrade it. And if we go with, let's say, maybe a stone jetpack here, we do have 33 stone, which I'm hoping might be enough. Let's go ahead and make another 5 of these batteries. Perfect. We can then, of course, make 2 of the stone thrusters. We'll just drop all those in the system, 1 and 2. And then from there, we can make another stone capacitor. And kapow, if we take off our wooden jetpack here, we have a stone jetpack, which is going to be slightly better than the last one. Again, if we press V here, we can turn the engine on. And we do move a little quicker. If we press G and turn on the hover mode, we fall a little bit slower. Still not perfect, but we are definitely moving in the right direction. Next up, we'll go with gold. Again, this time we'll go and get, I guess, maybe 22 of these. Let me quickly check. Does the diamond jetpack also use these? No, it uses elite coils. Okay, so we need 11 advanced coils. And then if we're going to go for the diamond jetpack, we would need 11 elite coils. That is quite a lot of diamonds, but bear in mind we do have currently over 1,000 diamonds. So we should be perfectly fine. Let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. 2 gold thrusters, 1 and 2, 1 gold capacitor, and I'm a fool. That's not the correct upgrade path. We have to go to iron first before we can go to gold. That is fine. We can do the same thing here. We can get another 11 coils, 5 iron batteries, 1 iron capacitor, 2 iron thrusters, and an iron jetpack. We can then upgrade that directly to a gold jetpack because we already have the iron jetpack. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go straight in with the diamond jetpack as well. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 diamond capacitors, 5 diamond energy cells, 1 diamond capacitor, 2 diamond thrusters, and boom, we have a diamond jetpack. Nice. So if we put that on our back, you'll see it is charging up on the left there, thanks to the wireless charging capabilities of our Flux network. And if we go ahead and turn on the jetpack here, you'll see that not only is it a lot faster at moving us just around this small sphere, but also if we press G, the hover mode here is now significantly better. There is still an ever so slight dip, like we are falling very slowly but surely, but it's so much slower than any of those previous tiers of jetpack. The good news as well is that the wireless charging from the Flux network should also carry over across dimensions. And so if we head on through into the nether here, we should be able to see the jetpack still getting charged whilst we're over here. Now, I believe one thing we can do is, by default, the comma and period buttons, or full stop buttons, can be used to toggle the throttle. By default, the throttle is set to 100, which means, let me check my Y level real quick, we're at 118. Much like in the overworld, in the nether, if you go too high, you will start getting the poison effect if you don't have the scale. But right now, even if we turn on hover mode here, you'll see it's quite fast, which when you're flying around like this is pretty good. But when you're trying to fly around like an enclosed space like this, it can be quite fast. If you turn the throttle down by pressing comma, you move just a little slower, which is a little bit more manageable. And so basically, chat, what we need to do now is we need to find 32 wither skeletons. They should hopefully start spawning here. There we go, any second now. And once we have them, ideally, we can land. We do still have our soul jars, which is perfect. And then let's try killing some of these guys. Not only have we completed the quest there, which is perfect, but I'm assuming that after we kill this guy, we should have 3 souls. We do. And so now, chat, we just have to do that 29 more times. And quite a bit of wither skeleton killing later. We now have 4 soul jars full of wither skeletons. And so I think, chat, that we are pretty much good to go here. We do need to get this solium seed base. To make that, we need a prosperity seed base. We then need 2 more solium dust, which I think we already have, actually. We do indeed. Perfect. And we also need that to be in our inventory. So that is going to go down right in the middle here. We're then going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 soul jars. And finally, all we have to do is get 4 supremium essence here. And we should be good to go. So supremium essence is something we can make now. And at the minute, we have 0 of. What we can do if we wanted to is we can grab the calculator and look again at what it would take to make 4 supremium essence. It would take 256 prudentium essence. And so once again, if we just do something like this, get the master infusion crystal, we can go 64, 128, 192, 256. Once we have 256, we can do the same thing again. And at this point, that should be basically everything to make the supremium. All we have to do is just continually craft further and further down from tertium into imperium. And from imperium, of course, finally, down into supremium. 1, 2, 3, 4, and button. And chat, we have done it. We have the wither skeleton seeds. And so now back over here, what we can do is, I guess for now, we can swap out, let's say, this top inferium seed here with a wither skeleton seed. Now we also want to allocate at least one of the slots on the right. Also, I'm going to temporarily turn off the jetpack while we're in the overworld because we are a little close to the surface here. But we do want to allocate one of these slots to wither skeleton seeds as well. So we need to unlock, take those out, put those in, and then lock it again. So now that should be dedicated to wither skeleton seeds. And ideally, I think it might be this one here, but ideally, as soon as this current batch of seeds is harvested, we should see our first wither skeleton seed getting placed. And there it is. Nice. Now, real quick, actually, one other thing we are going to have to do is get a draw for that. So let me see. We do have the plant gatherer being extracted from. I'm going to temporarily disable that by making it require redstone to activate, because what I want to do is I want to be able to set up a storage drawer for this wither skeleton essence. Otherwise, all of the wither skeleton essence is simply going to be deleted over and over again. So I'm just going to take that and set up a drawer for it over here. Now that we have a jetpack, it's a lot easier to get up here and place down these storage drawers. We'll make sure that we get not chickens, but preferably wither skeleton essence into there, and we will, of course, lock that with our draw key. One thing you can do here that people have been recommending in the YouTube comments for a while, you can put bone meal on top of the pedestal, and that will make the pedestal, the fertilizer upgrade at least, faster for a certain period of time. You can see that these are getting, that these are growing, you know, significantly faster, like almost instantly with bone meal on there. At some point in the future, we could potentially look at like trying to automate the sending of bone meal to that. You'll notice it did tear through that bone meal very quickly. In fact, it is now completely out of bone meal. But eventually, it might not be a bad idea for us to look at trying to make that, you know, something we do automatically, like taking the bones we're getting from the spawner, craft those down and send them up to the pedestal. But either way, we are getting wither skeleton essence. And in fact, we do already have 8. And so if we wanted to, what we could do here is we could try and craft up our first wither skeleton skull from that. Now, to craft up a wither skeleton skull, you need 8 wither skeleton essence along with 1 blank skull, and the 1 blank skull here is made with 4 soul dust and 1 bone block. Thankfully, the bone block we have, and the soul dust we also have, and so if we just do something like this, we get our second wither skeleton skull, and that puts us just 1 away from being able to get enough, of course, to be able to spawn in our first wither. Now, the idea that I have here, and that I want to kind of pursue potentially in the next stream, is I would like to try and automate the process of generating nether stars by automating the placing and the killing of withers. So what I'm thinking is we'll do all of this inside of a compact machine. So in the newest version of the pack, there are new recipes for these compact machines. Normally, you'd have to go through the miniaturization field projector. Unfortunately, in this version of Minecraft, the field projector is a little bit buggy, and so alternative recipes have been added. Thankfully, those alternative recipes do make making these compact machines fairly cheap, and in fact, I might even go ahead and make maybe a giant compact machine here, just because we have so many diamonds, and the recipe for it is simply 1 block of diamond surrounded by compact machine wall. Compact machine wall, again, used to be made in the miniaturization field projector, and you can still do it this way, but there is now also an alternative recipe with 1 obsidian and 1 blazewood inside of the induction smelter here. Blazewood being made by pulling molten blaze over any kind of plank in the smeltery. So, do we still have some molten blaze left over from the last stream? The answer to that question would be no. However, as per usual, what we should be able to do is get rid of the excess pink slime in this tank. And then if we once again grab some of our blaze powder here and drop that into the multi-servo press, which does already have some blaze in it, we can then place that into the smeltery and then pull that out over our planks. Now, I'm not entirely certain as to how much blaze you need per plank. 100 millibuckets. Okay, that is actually completely fine. So we'll make sure that the blaze is at the bottom. We've got enough to make 4 if we wanted to. So it turns out that you can't use any plank. You have to specifically use nether planks. So we can only use crimson planks, warped planks, and blood shroom planks. Those are the only 3 planks you can use in the making of this blazewood here. And so I think that what we're probably going to have to do here is maybe invest in some nature seeds and some nether seeds so that we can get nature essence and nether essence to allow us to just craft up either the crimson fungus or the warped fungus. So let's go ahead and unbookmark some of the other stuff that we made earlier today, like the soul jars. We'll bookmark nature seeds and we'll bookmark nether seeds, both of which shouldn't be too difficult. They are both tier 2 seeds, so they both require prudentium. The nether seeds just require nether agglomeratio, I think is how that's pronounced, maybe. That doesn't seem too bad. We don't have any nether wart. However, we definitely did see some in the nether fortress, and so getting the 4 required to make the 4 nether agglomeratio shouldn't be too difficult for us. And then for the nature seeds, we need nature agglomeratio, which is made from pumpkins, cactus, sugarcane, and potatoes. The only things we're missing there are the sugarcane and potatoes. We don't have 4 sugarcane or cactus, but we should be able to make more fairly easily. And I'm pretty sure that we do have both pumpkin seeds and potato seeds. Never mind, we do not have potato seeds. However, if we check back up here, I'm fairly certain that there will be a quest for it. There totally is. Potato seeds are made in organic water with cactus. Now, right now, we only have the 1 cactus. However, we do have snad. Right now, just red snad, but we can use that snad to get more cactus fairly quickly. Normally, we do our plant growing down on the lower level. However, with cactus, we can probably do this just anywhere in the base, especially given that doing it on that lower level kind of restricts us in terms of height. And up here, I'm pretty sure that we should just be able to do something like this and get the cactus to grow much, much faster. Now, it used to be the case that you could apply a redstone signal to snad and get things to grow rapidly. Like if you did this, it would cause the block to grow very quickly. Unfortunately, that no longer works in the 1.16 version of the snad mod. And so I believe the fastest way for us to get this cactus to grow is just by using the watering can here on the cactus itself, which is on snad. Okay, so there is a new bucket of organic water. If we go and drop that down, I've also got 15 cactus here. We can do something like that, get our potato seeds on. At that point, we should be able to once again till the ground here, plant down those potato seeds, and then from there, we can use some of our 2,400 bones here to probably very quickly get all of the potatoes that we need. I think we only need like 4, right? If we're going to make 4 nature agglomeratio, yeah, we just need 4 potatoes, 4 sugarcane, and 4 cactus. Sugarcane-wise, we have 6, so that's fine. Cactus-wise, we have 14. The only thing we're missing now is pumpkins, and once again, much like with the melons here, what we should be able to do is just plant those pumpkin seeds down like so, and then use our trusty watering can to accelerate the growth here. So there is pumpkin number 1, pumpkin number 2, number 3, and 4. Nice. So that should be pretty much everything to make the 4 nature agglomeratio. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Beautiful. So back over here, it is a prosperity seed in the middle with the 4 prudentium essence along with 4 of the nature agglomeratio. Hit the button. That should get us our nature seed. And then now what we need to do is head on through to the nether, grab 4 nether wart, and I guess also we need to get 4 soul sand. So soul sand is acquired by placing lava into a barrel that has lava, that has obsidian underneath it. Now, I did just realize when using my smeltery that I had forgotten to set up the fluid channel here. So I have now set up a fluid channel to extract lava from the tank down there and send it to the smeltery. We can probably also use XNet to transfer lava from this tank into this barrel as well. We might move this in the future. For now, I'll just do this, and then what we should be able to do is just tell the controller here to send lava to that stone barrel. So we'll set that to insert, at which point that should begin creating witch water. Yeah. Now, we are going to want a more permanent setup for this, because if we are going to automate the creating and killing of withers, we are, of course, going to have to automate the creating of soul sand. And there we go, 4 soul sand. So now we just need to quickly pop through to the nether and grab some nether wart. I guess before we head out, what we could also do is take some of our netherrack here and get that smelting up to make it a little easier for us to make the nether brick when we come back. All right, so we have the nether wart, we have the nether brick. We'll craft that up. Beautiful. We'll drop all that stuff into the system, along with most of the stuff in our inventory here. We got a lot of stuff we don't need to be carrying around with us all of the time. And so let us see, can we make 4 of this nether agglomeration? 1, 2, 3, and 4. We totally can. So we'll take that again with 4 more prudentium essence and yet another prosperity seed base. And we'll pop that in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it doesn't matter where you put these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So long as they are all on the pedestals, the craft will complete. And at that point, we should have both of the seeds required to get the warped planks to allow us to build a compact machine. So let's go ahead and once again, we'll add these to the setup over here. To do that, we will, of course, first of all, make sure that we disable the extraction from the plant gatherer. So we'll turn redstone on to activate again. That's going to stop that from extracting out of the plant gatherer. And then all we'll do here is we'll replace 2 more of the inferium seeds with nature seeds and nether seeds. And then we'll do the same over here. We'll take out these and these, put in these and these, make sure those are locked, and we should be good to go. We should start getting nature seeds and nether seeds fairly quickly here. Again, if we want to speed things up, we can go ahead and give this guy some bone meal. We are, of course, going to want to set up specific drawers for both the nether and nature essences. This time around, I'll be a bit more sensible about it and keep my draw key in my offhand so that as soon as we place down, and we'll also turn on hover mode, so that as soon as we place down the drawer, it is locked. We can then put in the nature and the nether. And back over here, we can once again set that to ignore redstone. And yeah, we should be good to go. That bone meal should be speeding up the rate at which plants grow, which it has been doing. We now have even more wither skeleton essence and wither skeleton seeds, which is perfect. And we should start to get even more nether essence and nature essence. We are going to need a total of 2 nature essence and 1 nether essence, which really shouldn't take us too long here. Not too long later, we have the warped fungus. We can use this, of course, to make warped planks. Now, in order to do that, we do have to plant the warped fungus on some nylium. Now, nylium, thankfully, we can make in the metallurgic infuser. How are we doing on mushrooms? We have a couple of mushrooms lying around. So I think what we need to do here is head around to our metallurgic infuser. If we place in a mushroom, we get 10 fungi. I think the netherrack only requires 10 fungi per craft here. So this might be doable. Let's put in a netherrack. That should make us our crimson nylium. I don't know if you can plant warped fungus on crimson nylium, which is probably one of those things where the majority of Twitch chat who's played and watched more vanilla Minecraft than I have is going to be like, Isaac, you fool, of course you can, or of course you can't. But either way, I'm going to take that one extra step and get us the warped nylium. And so now if we place that down, I'm assuming we can then place this on top, and then from there we should be able to bone meal it into a warped stem. Once we have the warped stem, we can of course craft those down into warped planks, and once we have those warped planks, we can head on back finally to the smeltery here, drop that down, and then make sure that the blaze is at the bottom, pull that out, and we get our first bit of firewood. The firewood, I think, is good for 4 compact machine wall, and so I think we are going to have to get a second firewood here if we're going to make an actual compact machine. Once we have both of those, I believe we then have to head on through to the induction smelter if we're not going to use the field projector. Thankfully, our obsidian is over here, so we'll do you and you. That should hopefully go through fairly quickly. That is going to end up in the system. At that point, all we should need is a diamond block in the middle, like so. And then we're going to surround that with compact machine wall. And yeah, any second now we get the extra 4. Boom. And boom, we have our first compact machine. So the way that you actually use these is via a personal shrinking device. The personal shrinking device, thankfully, is not too difficult to make. It does require 2 eyes of ender, which for us means we are going to have to once again head on back over to the smeltery. And this is probably one of those recipes that we should look to automating, I think, maybe sooner rather than later, because we're probably going to need a fair number of Eyes of Enders going forward. And having to do this every time, while not particularly difficult, is a little slow. But once we have the Eyes of Ender, we can put those in and we get the personal shrinking device. Once you have the personal shrinking device, you can right-click onto a compact machine and it will take you inside of it. And basically, this is just extra space. It's kind of like a new room in our base that we can use for really any setup that we like. So my plan is to set up a wither killing system inside of the compact machine. Basically, what I'm thinking we can do is we can use something like the Wither Builder, which is this guy here. This is the machine that allows you to pump in soul sand and wither skeleton skulls. It will take those and basically build the wither for you. So I'll put the blocks down, a wither will spawn. We could then, for example, use the mob crusher to automatically kill the wither. In the process, also generating a nether star, and then we can pump that nether star background through to the overworld. We could even use something like wireless refined storage. In fact, I think if we type in network, refined storage has a network receiver and a network transmitter that we can use to wirelessly transmit our refined storage system into this compact machine, at which point we can automate the process of sending things like soul sand and wither skeleton skulls to the wither builder to spawn a wither, to be killed by the crusher, to generate nether stars. And at that point, we should basically have an infinite amount of nether stars being generated, and we can begin using those to make things like the unlimited range add-on, which will allow us to access our refined storage system wirelessly from pretty much anywhere in the world. So that's kind of the plan there. In order to do that, we do have to take a bit of a detour, because to make the wither builder, we need a supreme machine frame, and the supreme machine frame requires ether gas. Ether gas is made using a fluid laser base with a purple laser lens over a pre-existing wither. It's quite a bizarre system that you have to go through, but I think what we'll probably do, chat, in the next stream is we will place down our first 3 wither skeleton skulls with 4 soul sand to spawn in an actual wither. I think what we'll do is we'll use some wither-proof blocks, like these from Mystical Agriculture, or maybe even like the tinted glass from Mob Grinding Utilities. This stuff is wither-proof and extremely cheap. It's just 5 coal and 4 glass. So what we'll probably do is set up a tinted glass box to place the wither inside of. Once we have the wither in there, we can then build a fluid laser above the wither in order to generate the ether gas. Once we have that ether gas, we can then use a crusher to kill that wither, thus giving us the nether star required to get the wither builder. And then at that point, we can look at automating the production of soul sand and wither skeleton skulls to send over to that wither builder to get infinite nether stars. That's the plan for next time, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today's stream there.